Hello, everybody. I'm Noemi Banchi. We are broadcasting from Springwood, Australia. And today we are going to reflect on, talk about, think of the seven divine foundations. Just as I like to say that it's not just me talking, is also from your end to analyze with me and think of what we are saying during this activity. So, to start with, all the information we are going to talk is in this book you are seeing. The cover of the book, Pillars of Metaphysics by Ruben Cedeño. And today, I would like to say that the seven divine foundations starts with God, but there are a lot of things around the word God, so that's why so let's say like this. Everyone is looking for God. Someone might be aware and they are deliberately looking for God. And others, they might know that what they are looking for is, at the end of the day, God. So let's say that this is something like everyone is interested in understanding sooner or later. So God, then the immaculate concept, the divine plan of perfection, the state of grace, harmony, heaven, and free will. So, let's start with God. And I would like to make a pause and ask you, so what do you think about God? What is your idea of God? Because as Emmett Fox says, the image, the idea you have of your idea of God is going to determine your life. And I was talking with a friend the other day, who is, by the way, a priest, and I was talking to him, and I was saying, how can I give someone faith? I can't. And the more we understand God, the better our quality of life will be. And then he didn't answer my question. I was like, a rhetorical question. And then I was thinking, it's like the sunlight. Nobody can give me the sun of light. The light is there. It's there outside. I just need to go and, contact that light, if it's the correct verb. Enjoy that light. Live that sunlight. The same with what we can say is God. And so first of all, God is a word. Metaphysics is the practice of the presence of God. So this is the beginning. So when we talk, and God is something that you cannot touch, you cannot see. It's metaphysics. Something metaphysical is something like is beyond physics, something you cannot see or you cannot touch, but you know that exists. And God has also other names. In different religions, different names can be Ishvara, can be Allah. Other names can be the universal being, the great central spiritual sun, the totality of life. And if you, to avoid any confrontation when you are talking with someone, even if he practice Catholicism or is called Christian, or if it's called Muslim or Hindu or student of Buddha Dharma, or even a esoteric student, everyone is looking for the same. And at the end of the day, the word is not what matters, but the essence. And this is what God is, the essence of the things. Two years ago, I went to Austria. This is in Hungary. We went with a group of friends, among them Ruben Cedeño, and we went to Hungary. And in Hungary, in the capital, Budapest, we went to this basilica, Saint Stephen. And I like to say Saint Stephen instead of Saint Stephen because there are too many saints, first of all. So this one, and this is what Ruben said, we're going to call this Saint Stephen to recognize him as the Saint Stephen from Hungary, to differentiate him from the Saint Stephen from Israel, from the Gate of the Lions. Is known as the first martyr, the person who died because was talking about Jesus' teachings and well, I'm going to the branches. Anyway, so the reason why I chose this image is because I was there looking at that image. It's an image of God. And this is what the artist thought to represent God. And most people think that God has a human appearance and has beard and is on a cloud and is there punishing people or rewarding people according to their actions. But this is not God. God is not a person. God is not an anthropomorphic being. When we say anthropomorphic being, we are saying is not or has no human qualities like jealousy or hungry or angry or disappointed. Those things are human qualities, not God's qualities. So God is not an anthropomorphic being. And the more we understand God, the like I said, the better we are going to live. So we can say, and this is the thing, we cannot define God, because it's like trying to bring the whole sea into a pot. It's impossible. But we can try to understand, and the more we speak about God, we might have a better understanding of God. So God is the being, the 7 aspects, the 7 principles. God is transcendent, and God is immanent. So if you go to Austria, Vienna, and you go to St. Peter's Basilica, you will see this image on the altar. And it says in Hebrew, I am what I am. The 4 letters, which means Yod He Vav He, God's name. So that's why we say that God is the being. God is the verb being. So when you use when you pronounce these 2 words, I am, you are connecting to this energy, if you want to call it God, perfect, and you are able to create as the creator. God, the being, manifests like the absolute, the universal being or transcendent God, and the inner being or immanent God. So we have here 3 aspects of the being as the absolute, and we are going to say these 3. Ruben explained these 3 aspects. We can say these 3, aspects of what we can or how we can understand God. The absolute, the God, like the God that most religions explain or study or believe, is the universal being. And then the inner being is maybe the less known, because people put God, like God is there somewhere, and God is also within me. So this is the representation of the absolute. It's called Parabrahman. And Parabrahman represents the union between the masculine and the feminine, the manifest and the manifests at the same time. And it's in the mind, in the even the abstract mind, the mind is always trying to make a picture to understand. If you see, that you are seeing a picture, it might be easier to understand, but it's just a picture, it's not what represents. Now, this image is, I like to explain this with numbers, because in maths you have 1, 2, 3, 4, blah, blah, blah. But how do you explain 0? Well, 0 is the void, nothing, the immanifest, and one might be the manifest. And Parabrahman, or the absolute, connotes the two aspects. Okay. How or what do we do with this, knowing about Parabrahman, apart from looking at this picture? If you understand that everything is dual, that there is a part that's physical and manifested, and there is another part which is unmanifested, then you are less likely to suffer. So I'll give you an example. If you have a loved one, a very close friend, your mom, your dad, your son, a pet, something or someone who you really, really love and you are attached because love brings us together, and that person passed away, you feel, if you don't understand that there is a part of unmanifested, you feel lost. You feel that that person is gone. It doesn't exist anymore or abandoned you. And in reality, you are seeing that part unmanifest. It doesn't mean that the person doesn't exist anymore. I should say the words of Einstein, the relativity, that nothing disappears, everything transforms. Well, that person that you really, really love, it doesn't exist as you used to see that person. You cannot talk with that person anymore, but still exists. And I would like to say that most people, if they are suffering because someone passed away, it's not because of the person passed away. It's because of their attachment. So they miss that person. They miss having that conversation or being able to give them a kiss or a hug. So if we can understand this, well, you might be less likely to suffer. And then we have this, what most religions speak about, is God, Ishvara, Allah, the totality of life. And you can see that it is composed of the three flames, blue, golden, and pink. That's the essence. God is the essence of the things. And is surrounded by the 7 rays. Transcendent God is God in the macrocosm, like the Supreme Being, the Father. When in the Catholics say, Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, they are saying the transcendent God. Also known as the great, great, great central spiritual sun. So when you think, okay, well, God has all the power. God is all the power. God is all the wisdom. God is all the love. And then the immanent God is that the same power, the same wisdom, the same love is in a tiny, tiny, tiny amount within you. And why I'm saying tiny? Because we are not saying here that because you feel like you are God, now you feeling like you are a superhero. You are developing your awareness of who you really are. And this is the GPS to understand your real being. That we are human beings. The human is your personality, composed of thoughts, feelings, and physical, this appearance. And the being is your spirit, the perfect part of you. And the consciousness of what you are aware is that link, which we call the inner being or the inner Christ. But I try to avoid saying Christ because people might think only on one religion, but it's not. It's because Jesus is known as the Christ, is because he was able to manifest his real being 100%. And he when you see Jesus Christ, you see as his real being, not just the personality. This is very, very deep. The only way to understand this is not about talking, it's not about listening to this. This means nothing to you. The only way to understand this is meditation. And the immanent God is God within each human in the microcosm, the called inner being, the divine spark, the I am presence. So we have the obvious thing is the physical sheath, then the vital sheath, your emotions, so emotional sheath, and your mental processes, what you are thinking all the time, your mental sheath. 2, if you continue in the process of observing and meditating, then you will be aware of your inner being, the perfect part of you. So if you, let's say this example, again, someone passed away, could be yesterday, could be last month, could be 20 years ago, and you still suffer, you can bring from your inner being that love, that company that you are missing from that person, because within you is all the love, all the wisdom, if you need to pass an exam or something, or all the power, like when you want to do something, get a new job or be able to do something, all the power within you. And I represent this because art can be an expression of combining those 2 things. Well, this is John Olsen's 5 Bell, which is in the Art Gallery of New South Wales. That piece. In the beginning, God. Moses, yes. It is the beginning of the Bible. You can see the Moses by Michelangelo. And this is why Moses is great, because he asked God, what's your name? And God said, I am what I am. And that's the name. So in the beginning, God. When you are going to work in the name of God, I will get this done. If you want to travel in the name of God, I will get this one done. Yes, you need to, I know it's not like things will do by themselves. You need an effort, you need to do. But at the end of the day, once you finish all the steps you have to do, and then in the end, you have that relaxation, that peace that comes, that confidence that you have because, okay, you put this in hands of God and you step up away. I will give you an example. Once, I'm working at the moment, but once upon a time I was looking for a job. I did all the steps. I got my, coming from Argentina, I got my registration as a physiotherapist. I researched online and apply in different places. And after all that, after doing all the steps, I said, okay, and I put in the name of God, I will get the job I want. And almost effortless, I got a job. God is kindness. When we say that God is the 7 rays or the 7 aspects of the totality of life, when we say that God is not an anthropomorphic being, we are saying that God has aspects. And Ruben explained here the aspects. And I like this because here is that, okay, it's not just God somewhere else. Like, for example, the money is in the bank. Yeah, wonderful. But what do I do with the money in the bank if it's not in my bank account? So it's the way to manifest prosperity through your daily activities. So this is not just to read like a book or marathon, but it's to take one of these sentences and analyze, and don't keep it in the mental level. Put this into practice. Whatever situation you have right now, maybe it's one of these sentences. Maybe you feel that it is connected to you right now. Then apply it and see what you can do about it. If there is evil, God is goodness. Don't complain. I'm just going to say that one. Don't complain if someone around you upsets you, makes you angry, doesn't respect you. Don't complain. God is goodness. Means you need to be good with that person. If it's difficult, practice and say it aloud, because the more you practice, the more you say, the repetition is what in my profession is what we call the repetition improves the movement patterns. In this, let's say it's kind of similar. The more you repeat, you create a new path in your mind. If there are threats, God is protection. If there is fear, God is faith. If there is hate, God is love. If there is discord, God is harmony. If there is ugliness, God is beauty. If there is deceit, God is truth. If there is a disease, God is health. If there is poverty, God is provision and abundance. If there is confrontation, God is peace. If there is disorder, God is ceremonial order. If there is negativity, God is transmutation. If there is oppression, God is freedom. If there is corruption, God is justice. If there are faults, God is forgiveness. 7 universal principles. So again, God is not an anthropomorphic being, but the 7 aspects and the 7 universal principles. And we already talked about them. Mentalism, cause and effect, rhythm and vibration, polarity and generation, and correspondence. Now, it's a saying in Spanish, I don't know, in English it's the same. A cat's son catches mice. What does it mean? The son of a queen is a prince who is going to be a king. You are a son or a daughter of a king. The king. Above all physical laws, above everything else. And if a father, what is the saying? If you, who are bad, give good things to your children, what do you expect from the Father who is in heaven? The saying is very clear. What or why people suffer? Because they are not recognizing that they can have the money they need, they can resolve the situation, they are intelligent, they are inclusive. Peace. Now is everyone is talking about peace, peace, peace. Don't look in another country. Don't look at other countries. Look at you. Look how your relationship with your neighbor is, or with your family members, or at work, because that is important. And if everyone is peaceful wherever they are, is most likely that the peace will spread. But if you don't want to talk with this person, if that person annoys you, the other one is helpless, anyway, etc., etc. Well, what do you expect about a country level? So we are son and daughter of a king. So I hope that doesn't happen to you as Joanna, the mad syndrome. Have you heard about that? Joanna, she was a queen of Spain through the power was exercised by, Queen of Spain, though power was exercised for her by her husband, Philip I the Handsome, her father, Ferdinand of Castile, and her son, the Emperor Charles V. So she was a daughter of a king, a wife of a king, and a mother of a king, emperor. And she was diagnosed as mad. So for that reason, and when the people said, Joanne, we are with you, we are going to fight for you, she said, oh, no, don't, we can't be bothered. No, just leave it. That's the mad syndrome, that you have everything you need. So all the food is at the table and you are not eating because it's too much for you. It's too much effort to go and pick up the food. It's exactly the same. So if you're suffering for whatever reason, you are the cause of your suffering. You are the cause of whatever happened to you. So you can, in metaphysics, we learn to reject the negativity by saying these decrees. I take power away from you. I don't want it. I don't accept it. Or you have no power. And it's more than words, it's an attitude that you are going not accepting it. I remember, so I'll give you the example of money. I was here in Australia, and I gave up my job, my house, everything, and I was here, and then I had to pay the rent, and where's the money? And I said to myself, okay, well, no, I don't accept this situation. I didn't have a job, and I thought, I don't accept this. I don't want it. I'm not happy. Well, I made the decision, I said the decree, and then I got the job, I got the money, and now everything changed. Now, the immaculate concept. The immaculate concept is the second foundation, and is a perfection pattern that each human being, situation, place, or thing has. As Emmett Fox says, always the best. And what does it mean? Your body, the best. We in metaphysics, we decree. Some people go to the gym or doing a physical activity. That's perfect, but also is helpful if you do the decrees about your health. And it's a combination. The immaculate concept is also what you eat, what you dress. When you go to buy clothes, don't buy the cheapest clothes because it's cheap or because it's on sale. Buy the best. Have one shirt, one white shirt, the best, and that's it. You can then wash it, but it's better than having 3 or 4 with holes. A relationship, the best, the one that fits you, that makes you happy. That's your immaculate. Your immaculate concept is not being with a person who makes you suffer. That's a psychological problem. Your house, keeping your house tidy, clean, the best. Your job, the perfect job for you, can be secretary. Well, countless, many jobs, but the best for you, in the best condition. Your car as well. No, imagine having a car that without a door. No, you need your car in a perfect state. And anything else, if you want to travel, always the best connection. Not just because, what's the cheapest, and instead of 3 hours, you need to fly travel 9 hours, something like that. Always the best. If you're going to eat, the other day we went to someone, and we went to eat something, and there were street food, and I said, no, let's go to a proper restaurant. And then when we were eating, the person who was with me maybe wanted a food street, I don't know. And I think I have this from my mom. My mom always said, I don't like the street food because I don't know where they do the hygienic. The hygienic is poor. They don't have place to wash their hands, so I don't know. So I always have that in my mind. And then we were eating this restaurant, very nice, and I asked the person, well, are you enjoying the food? And the person said, yeah, very much. It's very nice and tasty, delicious, and in a very nice plate with a nice glass, and so the person said, oh yeah, but we were talking about the comparison between the food we were eating. Yeah, but you need to pay more here to be in this restaurant instead of the food street. And I said, yes, but you don't need money, you need food. So the money is just the mean, not the end. And, well, you can say this decree, but first, before talking about the decree, I want to explain that place, because that place is all... Most of the photos you are seeing are photos I took in different places. I took this one in the Church of the Holy Sepulchre in Jerusalem, Israel, a few years ago. And in that particular place you are seeing was Mother Mary standing facing her son on a cross. And she kept thinking, my son is perfect, my son is fine, my son is healthy. She kept Jesus' immaculate concept. So don't look at the appearances. Focus on the immaculate concept and decree that you want to see the immaculate concept in that situation or with that person. If you have a son, like Mother Mary, and your son is suffering for something, keep thinking about him, healthy, or her, if he's a daughter, healthy. Or, I don't know, the condition, whatever it might be. We can say this decree: I am the immaculate concept of my divine plan of perfection. The divine plan of perfection is God's will. The definition, Ruben explains this, but I like to say, in simple words, your divine plan of perfection is what makes you happy. So, if you're one of these people, if you are sad, unhappy, or frustrated with what you are doing, it means you are against your divine plan of perfection. You are not doing what you're supposed to do. Because when you are doing your divine plan of perfection, you might be the busiest person on the world, but you are happy because you are doing what you want. So if you're in a job, is very, hectic and doing a lot of responsibilities, doing meetings and this and that, but you don't care because you enjoy that, perfect. Or it's very physical work, but you enjoy it. You couldn't be sitting on a desk all day, perfect. That's your divine plan of perfection. Being a cook, being an artist, or being involved in politics or teaching or science or whatever it might be. And if you don't know, if you don't know, you can decree: I am the fulfillment of my divine plan of perfection. Sorry, the full stop should be inside the breaks. Now, state of grace. The state of grace is another divine foundation and is living without difficulties. When you are in grace, you are doing something in grace. If you're cooking, for example, you can say, I impregnate this food with grace. The grace is related to the causation quadrant. What is the difference between being worried or in peace or in grace? Is the causation quadrant, is what the celestial, which is the positive, or the toxic one, which is the negative. Depends on what you are thinking, your thoughts, your feelings, your words, and the quality of your actions. So that will determine your state of grace. And harmony. Harmony is another divine foundation and is a state of perfection, of union with your inner being. Like we said, to understand, to connect with your inner being, there's only one way, only one meditation. And that gives you harmony. And you can say this decree: my inner being's harmony is my maximum protection. Because if you are in harmony, you are focused, you are concentrated. Let's say you are driving and something silly happened. The person did something silly. You are focused, you are protected. The person, whatever they did or whatever they said, is not going to affect you because you are centered in harmony. I like to imagine this like those cars who are very strong because they are traveling with money, a lot of money. Well, stronger than those cars. So that protection is within you. And the only protection that you can have is through your thoughts, your feelings, your words, and your actions. So that's why we say this decree. And heaven. Heaven is another divine foundation. Is heaven a place? What do you think? Some people think that here we are on earth and someday we are going to be in heaven. Heaven is not a place. It connotates the inner state of consciousness of happiness and perfection. And a very good example is I didn't have the opportunity, but this is what I'm saying is sharing an experience of someone else. When Ruben went to India, he went to a place in Motigil. Motigil is a place where Mother Teresa of Calcutta was working with very, very sick and poor people. Very low, almost in terminal condition. Not having food to eat, being very poor. And Ruben said that the kids that he went there with a group of friends, students of metaphysics, and when he said he met the most beautiful and happy people on earth in Motijil, in that place where, is very low in terms of everything. The people lack of everything there, but they were happy. So heaven is not a reward of what you are doing now. Heaven can be right now, or it's not a place where you are going to go one day or after death. Is a state of consciousness that can happen right now. You can be in heaven right now. If you are in harmony, if you use this causation quadrant in a positive way, and if you do all the steps. These ones, the 7 requirements to live in heaven. Think positively. Everything is here. Start from the mind and above. Yes, I know that when you are doing a project or there are a lot of possibilities, but think positively. Think that the thing you want is going to happen. Feel lovely things. I was watching the other day a movie, You Before Me. This charming lady who went to work with a very what is the word? A disabled person, and he was frustrated. He was angry. He was suffering all, but she with her personality and her uplifting and charming personality, she made his life better, and it was very nice. Decree constructively. Whatever you are going to say, first, before you open your mouth, look if what you are going to say is positive, is true, and is going to help. And if it's not, please be silent. Do uplifting actions. Listen to academic music. I'm not saying classical, because classical music is just a period of music. Academic music involves all the periods of music. Wear colors of the rainbow and smile. Smile, and someone will smile to you. Free, and they will treat you better. And then another divine foundation is your free will. Free will refers to the freedom every human has to choose between living well or poorly. And even God respects free will. Remember the case of Joan, the Mad syndrome? She had the free will to not to protest or talk or speak up, and she didn't. So your free will, if you are suffering, is because of your free will. You are. So when someone says something negative, I say to them, that is going to happen to you. sometimes slips between my lips. Don't say that. But then I say, well, maybe they want. If the people want to suffer, well, say it. If they want to suffer an accident, talk about accident. But if you don't want to, don't speak about accidents or bad luck. Or that is your free will to choose how you want to live. So, in a nutshell, the reason for your life is determined by your divine plan of perfection, is what you really, 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 really want. The karma or principle of cause and effect is what you have done. And the quadrant of causation, your thoughts, feelings, words, decrees, and actions. Thank you very much. See you next time.